Hi everyone, welcome to Border Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is the Tier 7 tank destroyer, the T28 Heavy Tank Concept, or Heavy Concept Tank, and it's been driven by invalid username from Tim Clan, and this is the reward tank for the second lot of personal missions. If you're doing the personal missions to try and get some free tanks and also some free rewards, the Heavy Tank Concept is the reward for the second lot of personal missions. And we're on what's it called? Winterberg in the standard battle, and invalid username is plodding along. You can see it's a tank I really like and I seem to do quite well in, probably because it's not very fast and I can't get myself into silly positions early. It's probably comparable to maybe the Tortoise, except it's a little bit faster, but it does have a decent amount of armour at the front, especially in a game like this where he's lucky enough to be top tier. Of course, in any game when you're top tier, you do get some kind of advantage onto some of the enemy tanks, but all those tier 5 and 6 guns on the enemy side are really going to have trouble penetrating the frontal armour of this tier 7 American tank destroyer, the T28 Heavy Concept Tank. Now he's moved himself into a pretty aggressive position here, moving down the middle road of the town. You can see that invalid username's team have pushed quite aggressively on the 1-2 line, and he's basically just trying to keep up, I think, at this stage, because he doesn't have the speed in this tank. But once you get yourself into a good position, you can really dish some damage out. It's got quite a high alpha gun. It's got a gun that can penetrate 181mm of armour, which is plenty, and does 320 alpha damage on average. He's waiting for that M4 A3E2 to back up. He'll be able to take him down to half his health if he does, but I don't think he's going to. He's just waiting for something to pop out. Does he take the shot here? Takes a blind shot towards the Japanese premium tank at tier 6. Little Tiger, and you can have a look at the gun. You can see it's got quite a good gun arc left and right, which is very handy if you're in like a corridor like this is, where you're only aiming one way. You often don't need to move your tank to get the angle. So you can see how far left and right that gun can aim. Now, Invalid's team are down by a tank, but it's early days. Tanks that are dead. They're only tier 5 and 6, or one tier 7's been killed, and he's just sort of waiting for the opportunity to advance on these enemy tanks. He's got himself into a pretty good position where he can use his armour if he is attacked. And looking at the mini-map, his team look like they're doing quite well on the field, on the eastern side of the map. So Invalid's just waiting for his opportunity here. They've gotten rid of the Chaffee, only down by one tank. And now he's starting to use the threat of a big top tier gun to his advantage by moving in to where the enemy are. And he's basically flanked them here. Does the right thing here and shoots at one of the top tier tanks on the enemy side. Gets a nice shot into the back of that T25 too here, the normal American tank destroyer. Unlucky to miss that shot, just wasn't properly aimed. Had he auto-aimed, he probably would have got it. And that's what he's doing now. He's unlocked it, shoots again, unlucky again to miss, but his team are crumbling. They're down by 3 tanks now. That T1 Heavy, which is a popular tank amongst people who like padding stats at tier 5, gets taken out of the game by his big gun. And now he's just bouncing all those shots. Look at all those shots that he's just bouncing. So long as nobody gets behind him, he'll be able to do this all day. He's got his Cromwell behind him, which is going on a bit of an arty run by the looks of him. Gets a critical hit. He's done 1,200 damage so far. He's tracked the T25 too, and that'll take the tier 7 tank destroyer out of the game. Now there's only 2 tanks left in this area. The heavy tank, the Japanese Tiger, which is going to outrun him, but if he goes around that corner, that Japanese Tiger is going to run into some of Invalid's teammates. So Invalid username can just swing around bounces a shot very handily from the Japanese heavy tank. Artillery puts a massive shot into him, takes him down to 8 hit points, and unlucky to miss that last shot, but he picks up his 3rd kill by taking him out of the game. And it looks like that T3485 on the enemy side is harassing the artillery players, as well as that Jagdpanzer IV, which, look, he may or may not be in the game. It looks like he's loaded in, but doesn't look like he's moved from the spawn. Fires clutch there, but he probably hit the wreck of that tank that's lying in the middle of the road. And even though he's copping a few shots from these tanks, he's not really taking much damage. Now, that Jagdpanzer IV, even though he may be AFK, he is inadvertently spotting for invalid username in his T28 Heavy Concept Tank, and so he's just going to put some pain into that IS. The IS can be a very dangerous tank at tier 7, especially when it's top tier. Does about 400 alpha damage, but he needs to be wary of this Cromwell. If the Cromwell gets behind him, he's going to be in the world of trouble, but he doesn't. Puts the 347 hit points worth of damage into him, and now he's just going to bounce these Cromwell shots all day long. Tracks him, so he can't run away, which is good. Doesn't look like, looks like the other Cromwell's going to come round to try to help, but he shouldn't need to. Picks up kill number 5, and now they're up 3 tanks versus 1. You can see on the damage counter he's already done 2,310 hit points of damage, and gets a shot. Takes a shot from, it has to be the IS, that's the only tank that's left. The IS is on 900 hit points. And invalid username using the wreck of this tank again to give himself some cover as he chips away at the health of the IS. The IS has got a little bit more hit points than the T28 Heavy Concept. And it's going to be a case of whose armour can hold up better, the Russian or the American. Gets a nice side shot into the IS. Now that brings him down to pretty much a one-shot. The IS is going to need to shoot him more than once to damage him, but he doesn't get to. Picks up the top gun with the 6 kills and over 300 hit points of damage, which is an absolute ripper of a game. And it's not a bad tank at all from invalid username, the T28 Concept, Heavy Tank Concept, or whatever it's called. The 2nd reward tank in the personal missions section of your garage. If you're having a look around, you can see he's picked up an ace tank, a mastery badge with that game. Also bruiser, duelist, fire for effect and shell proof for bouncing all those shots. The steel wall, there was a heap of shots put into the front of that tank, and obviously people still don't know where to shoot it to penetrate it, but when you're top tier you can bounce anything you come up against, so long as you don't give up your flanks. Of course, he picked up the high caliber for all that damage he did, and the top gun for getting the 6 kills in that game. And look at the second page of the post-game battle results. 3,223 hit points of damage, which was enough for the mastery badge. He fired 26 shots. A few of them weren't properly aimed, or maybe he had a bit of lag, or there was a few opportunities that he took, which, you know, you got to take the dodgy shots, I guess, every now and then. But 13 shots doing damage gave him that massive score, and he's comprehensively carried that game. Look at all the passengers in that game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks did no damage whatsoever, but he topped the scoreboards by experience, damage and kills. It's a massive game. From invalid username of Tim Clam. Lost a bit of credit, so I'm tipping that he fired some premium ammunition, looking at the costs, even with a premium account. But generally, if you fire normal ammunition, which is probably all you need to when you're top tier, you're going to make plenty of credits. Awesome game, though, from invalid username. From Tim Clan in the 2nd reward tank for the personal missions, the T28 Heavy Concept Tier 7 American Tank Destroyer. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the replay, and I'll see you all next time.